Hi, this is Aaron Masliansky, and you're about to listen to the next episode of Inside the Skev. Today we're speaking with the founders of Ignite Gaming, an e-gaming facility that recently opened up in Skokie. And it's an awesome conversation. I hope you enjoy. And just want to remind you that if you're looking for real estate to look to buy or sell in the Skokie or surrounding area, I'm a realtor at Dreamtown Realty in Evanston. Just reach out to me at aaron@skevinson.com or go to my website, aaronmasliansky.com. Now, let's enjoy the show. Welcome to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Masliansky. Today we're here with the owners of Ignite Gaming, which is located directly across the street from the train station on Skokie Boulevard near Oakton. We've got the owners, their brothers, Flavius Maximus and Sam Oanta, and we're going to talk to them about what they're doing here and why everyone should go check this place out because it's super cool. So, guys, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Aaron.
It's a pleasure. So, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what is Ignite Gaming?
Yeah, I'll fire us off. Ignite Gaming is essentially a modern day arcade. We have modern consoles, Xboxes, PCs, VR, and people pay per hour to play video games there. We have over 150 titles to choose from, and then we have a food and beverage program that serves food at people's seat. So think of it as a next generation arcade with all of the latest and greatest games and consoles.
And how do you come up with an idea like this?
We were huge gamers when we grew up. So we've always been playing games together. We grew up playing like console games on tube TVs.
Yeah.
So it started off with like Super Nintendo and N64, and we'd always just kind of spend a lot of time around each other, especially indoors, like during the long Chicago winters.
Yes.
We'd spend time playing video games with each other. Eventually it evolved into like PC gaming. So we really got into computer gaming. And we were like, hey, why don't we maybe try to offer this to the masses? At some point, we had like 4 computers in our living room. We grew up in uptown Chicago.
Yeah.
So we grew up there, and then we had like 4 computers in our living room, and we're like, we could probably scale this.
All the neighbors would be coming around and be hanging out. So we were running a mini version of what Ignite is right now in the living room.
What year was that?
That had to be 15 years ago. Yeah. It had to be.
Yeah.
We were all teenagers. So Ignite started over a decade ago. Sam was still in high school. There is a third brother involved, so it's kind of like a trio. Mm-hmm. Sam would come help at the business after school, and eventually morphed into kind of what it is right now, which is multi-location, became a real business from a bit of a hobby shop gamer.
Were you charging people back then to come in?
Not at the apartment.
Okay.
Not at the apartment. No.
Everybody just had to bring food.
Yeah.
That works.
It was a potluck. What do you have?
Yeah.
Snickers bar, come in. You're welcome.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when did you open up your first place, and where's that located?
The first one opened up in 2003.
Okay.
That was at Clybourne and Western. It was about 1,500 square feet. We had like 30 PCs. It was basement-y feel. We were working hard to not have that. Tube monitors were a thing back then, so it was the big, like 50-pound monitors. But we were running a small operation, and it revved up to where we expanded in that location. And I think most notably, about 5 years ago, we shifted to the current Chicago location, which is near Elston and Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And we tripled in size. We're in about a 9,000 square foot space on Elston right now. That location is still running, expanded greatly on our offerings, and toned our business acumen at the same time, and just we're tweaking with the model. A big thing for us has always been making sure that what we offer is available to like a larger audience. Mm-hmm. Not just the teenagers that want a basement feel that's cheap with ramen. So you get that,
smells
you get that
good
picture.
in there.
Yeah, it doesn't smell good in there. You could get a mental picture of that smell. No. So our goal has always been to make it something that's a lot more accessible, a lot more. What would the word be for just inclusive,
Yeah.
inclusive and quality style business where you walk in and it doesn't feel like off from what you would experience at a restaurant, the hospitality and the service, right? Those things have always been really important to us. I think it runs a little bit in our blood. We like to host people. We like to be around other people. We like to welcome them and create experiences for them. So that's kind of like we have a cool synergy about how our thought process works in that way, and we get really stoked about opening up spaces and working really hard to make sure people feel really good in our spaces.
You like hosting a party.
We like hosting a party, and Ignite is a lot like hosting a party, like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For reference, when we first opened up in 2002, there was internet cafes were still a thing. So broadband internet wasn't nearly as accessible as it was. So when we first opened, it was like, yeah, let's focus on video games. But I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we had like PC repair services, we had printing services. So we were this like weird blend of gaming and traditional internet cafes, because there was like about 24 internet cafes around the city at that time, because broadband internet just wasn't as accessible as it was. Like phones weren't where they were.
Well, nobody had like smartphones.
Right, exactly. So we were this weird blend where we were like, yeah, we could offer some of these services as well, but our focus will be video games. So we were doing something that nobody was doing around that time, where our emphasis was like, hey, why don't we just create a space where people could come play, online video games together? Yeah, very weird concept. A lot of nobody was doing it.
And service was just key. Like that was just something that always kind of drove us. Where it wasn't just like here's a PC on a desk. It was a lot more of welcome. Can we help you get set up? So and then that's kind of carried through, and we've always tried to one up ourselves on that front as well. Where we love restaurants and we love businesses in general. So when we walk in a place, we're always looking around and dissecting the service and how what's done well, what isn't. So we love to do that for our own business as well. Just figuring out like how do we one up ourselves in this industry that not a lot of people are competing for right now, but we definitely we consider ourselves competing with other entertainment venues, and people are choosing us when they're coming out. So we're honored when somebody chooses us on a weekend to come out and hang out for 3 hours or something at playing video games with their friends. We're super honored when people do that. So we treat it with respect.
Well, because they could just go home and do that. But why did you choose Skokie to open up your next location?
So the move in Chicago was just a couple of blocks away. We stayed in the same neighborhood, and we had quite a difficult time with the move due to some circumstantial items and also scaling. So zoning was a tiny bit of an issue. Some licenses were removed, and the city of Chicago had a hard time categorizing us. So through that difficulty, we kind of learned the hard way. It's like, okay, we're going to have to start with the governing entity to make sure they welcome us and they want us in the neighborhood and we can be a positive driver in their neighborhood, to make sure all that synergy was there. So that's how we started with our second location. We said, okay, we're not going to go through that again because it's expensive, it's very uphill, and we want to be in a neighborhood where there's synergy, where we can contribute to the neighborhood, we're wanted there. Skokie just led the charge on that. Skokie has been unbelievably terrific regarding partnering with us. So for the first time ever, we just felt like we had a partner in Skokie where they were interested in the success, they were interested in the details. If we ran up against the roadblock, they were the first people I'd call and say, hey, I'm having this issue, and not only were they helpful, but oftentimes they came up with ideas for solutions to pretty big problems in terms of build out and all sorts of things.
Right.
So unbelievable business partner. I actually just came from the Village of Skokie. I'm drawing a blank here, but State of the Village.
Okay.
So they run. Once a year they do a recap of kind of what happened in the village. And I'm a huge advocate of Skokie, and they're always bringing new businesses that are considering Skokie by our Skokie space. We love.
You're the showcase.
We're a showcase, and we love to be that. They really helped get us in there. They continue to be great partners for the success of our Skokie location. We absolutely love being there. We love it. Yeah, and we can't wait to see more businesses come in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And another part, the yellow line's right in front of us, so we want it to be accessible by public transit. That was a kind of a pivotal component for us, and has been for years, where we just need to be, again, when Flav was talking about accessibility, that is part of it. So being in front of the yellow line stop, the Oakton yellow line stop, a big driver for that.
That's a big, huge part of that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think also what's great is that, you're close to Oakton Park and Pool and, the whole, exploratorium and everything. So there's it's somewhat becoming like an entertainment area for Skokie, that whole
That would
little
be
area.
awesome.
Exactly.
I've never heard that, but we would love to be a part of that.
Well, I think that's, and I'm sure if you dissect kind of the Village's mindset behind kind of really being advocates for us moving into downtown Skokie, which has been really struggling in terms of getting someone to plant their feet there.
Yeah.
I would guarantee you, were looking for that. They saw what was around there, those existing businesses and park districts. And they're like, yeah, let's try to revitalize this. Let's bring this up, and let's get this. It's all empty buildings. Let's see what we could do to make this an entertainment district. Absolutely. I think resembling Rosemont, or what's happening in Westfield Old Orchard.
Oh yeah,
I think they're trying to bring that, in downtown Skokie. And I feel like, if you ask them, they're probably like, this is an anchor, right?
Oh yeah,
and
they've said that.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't there for that.
They said that, and I, we decided to go in as that, and knowing that it was kind of a lot of abandoned properties in the vicinity. We're super excited to kind of propel that. We see our business as a bit of a destination, so we have a tiny bit of leeway in terms of drawing people out and things like that.
Right.
So it might be a little bit more worthwhile for somebody to come out and hang out at Ignite for 2 to 3 hours rather than try to get a burger.
Right.
So we do have quite a bit of travel from our guests.
Yeah.
What they would tolerate. Yeah. And we're probably stretching that a tiny bit currently. And so we're working on that, stretching, drawing people out.
From all around the surrounding area.
Exactly. Yeah, like north suburbs, from the city, because we're really counting on all of it.
Well, you have the access for it. I mean, I think for your area, I know Skokie's invested a lot in the technology park that's across the street from you and everything else. I mean, there's things going on in downtown Skokie, I think, that will help you significantly. And I remember going into the building where you are when it was a furniture store a long time ago, and it was
the used furniture?
Yeah, I'm like, are you really open? Even back then, it might have been like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But what you guys have done to the space is unreal. I mean, you go in there, and you gave me a tour, and I appreciate it, and I was blown away, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We worked super hard. There were probably about 15 dumpster worth of furniture that I had to leave first. Thank you so much. And I think when you came by, we were closed. Is that right?
Yeah, I came in early before you were open, and it's interesting to see a place like that when it's empty. I'm going to be coming in soon with my son.
I have to give you a tour when
I want to come play.
The key is the energy. So everything about that place is the energy when people are in there and connecting with each other, with the friends that came in. So I'm really excited for you to see the space while it's actually in action.
Yeah.
Flav won't speak to this, but he so kind of our thing has been always let's find a really industrial building on a off beaten path. Yeah. So this building was no different. It was just an empty warehouse with a cool 26-foot bow-truss ceiling, and we were like, we can make this work. We can make this look really cool. So Flav is not going to take credit for this, but him and Aram, one of our project managers and designers of the space, just took their sweet time. It took 2 years for them to really meticulously plan and figure out how to design the space to make it look like there's technological flourishings coming out of this old industrial building. So he's not going to take credit for it, but I think they did a phenomenal job with it as well, and it's super impressive. It looks like someone just took a circuit board and inserted it on top of an old building, right?
Totally.
You have all these exposed conduit coming from the walls and draping down, powering TVs and all the technology there. So it's a really cool way to see it's when you see something old and it has overgrowth on it, like flowers, this is like something old that has technological overgrowth coming out of it, like a revitalization of the space. So it's really cool, and I don't know if you guys even thought of it that way. But to me,
I think we did as a team.
Yeah.
You were actually in those meetings.
Yeah. Again, I don't remember that.
But it does look like that. I totally get what you're saying, And then you've got like this whole other side of the building too, which is like beautiful for parties and whatnot, right?
Yep, open event space. So about half of this space is open event space. The other half is fully decked out for a walk-in gaming experience. The open event space, think of a techie, industrial feeling. I'm trying to blink. Ballroom. So it still has some of those technical flourishings in there, but open space. There's a bar on that side. Other than that, it's up to the client's imagination to kind of put in a stage or kind of whatever would work for their event.
You need like a gaming con there.
Yes.
Yeah, we're next weekend. We're actually working with Twitch Chicago. They're a group that essentially brings in a bunch of Twitch streamers from the like Chicago and Midwest area, and we're essentially it's a giant networking event that brings in a bunch of streamers, content producers. And for those of you that don't know, Twitch is a online broadcasting website where people essentially produce content. It's like YouTube but live, essentially all the time, and people are playing video games on there. So they're a bunch of content producers, these people that are creating content from home, playing video games and having, anywhere from 30 people watching them per night to thousands. There's going to be some pretty big streamers there. But they're going to come and connect with a lot of people that are trying to connect with that audience. So you're going to have companies like Techni, which is like they make gaming chairs, and they're looking to connect with that audience. So they partner with these streamers that are content producers to kind of reach that audience more organically. So we're making, we're May 18th. It's a giant networking event with a bunch of Twitch streamers, and it's going to be a mini con, right? There's going to be some booths, some sponsors and vendors there, and it's going to be exactly that. It's going to be a little con for streamers that are producing content on Twitch. So yeah,
wow. That's. I don't know if everyone like realizes like what the gaming world is today. I mean, do you have like tournaments? I mean, are people playing against each other worldwide? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, so I think the cool thing about the space in Skokie that we were really excited about is being able to create a space that could lend to some of those things that Flav was talking about earlier. The day-to-day experiences for people looking seeking an entertainment like a night out. But then also being able to feed into this larger gaming audience that is really into competitive games. It's called esports.
Yep.
So that's been a real big buzzword that's been flying around all over the place. And esports is a subset of this billion-dollar gaming industry. And when we were looking at the Skokie space, we were like, how are we able to create a space that could serve the casual gamer, someone that's just looking to come in and play Smash Bros. Ultimate with their girlfriend? All the way to the ultra-competitive gamer that's looking to maybe make a career out of this. And, Robert Morris University right here in our backyard in Chicago is one of the first universities to actually offer scholarships for esports students.
Really?
Yeah. They were a leader in the nation. They were one of the first people to actually offer scholarships for that.
I didn't know that existed. Okay.
Yeah.
And now everybody's followed suit. So they're not the only ones ananymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's dozens of universities and colleges across the nation now that not only offer sponsorships and scholarships for this, but have little esports areas where their players can compete and practice and play essentially. So think of it like Ignites. Versions of Ignites in colleges where these students are doing this as an extracurricular and they're getting scholarships from it.
And just a little plug there. Robert Morris, before they built out their little version of Ignite, they literally came to Ignite and said, "Could we steal all these ideas?" And we're like, all right, if you're gonna do something good with it, which is create the scholarship program and kind of break ground on that front, we're like, okay, you could rip all these ideas off and make it look just like Ignite.
It's not a rip. Kurt Melcher, the director at the time, he's and he just was a visionary. Came in and was very respectful. It wasn't
He was
very respectful. He came in and was like, "Hey, I love what you guys are doing. You guys have been doing this for years, and we want to replicate the feel and the energy that you guys are creating here." So, anyway, the original question was, do we do tournaments, and how do we feed into this larger gaming market?
Yeah.
And we do. So we day-to-day casual experiences for people just looking to play. But then we also curate, weekly tournaments for people looking to come out and compete and play. So we have a really big fighting game community. We have a really big Smash Bros community. And we're talking about 60 to 100 players per week coming out to just compete and play. And the event space is built for that as well, where we can really create a space where we can have these bigger tournaments and not really kind of push away our walk-in guests that are looking to experience us on the weekends.
So do you put more equipment in the other side when you need that?
Exactly. So that space is designed, again, to be able to just support virtually another game lounge on the other side, structured however you want, shaped however you want, staging, a stage, a projector, theater-style seating if you'd like to do that for the spectating part of competitive gaming esports.
Yeah.
So the space was designed to be able to service the entire spectrum of gamers and this huge subset of competitive and esports gamers that is becoming a billion-dollar industry in and of itself, right? The traditional sports markets are really starting to tap into it. So for us, being able to be a hub that just services the entire gaming spectrum is pivotal in kind of how we view ourselves in this gaming market. Like, we want to service all types of gamers. And be able to be maybe get somebody in there that's doesn't even know they want to compete, but sees, on a Wednesday night, there's some people playing competitive Smash Brothers. I was here playing it casually. What's this about? Oh, Wednesdays you could come and play in a tournament. Like, cool, let me try it out. And really kind of see the progression down that route is something that I think, have a really big vision for when we think about players in our space and people in our spaid.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about vision. I mean, you guys started this in your apartment. Like, where did you learn about how to create a business like this? How did that come about?
I think, unfortunately, it was a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
So we really just tweaked it a lot. That's really the answer. And we had a lot of very friendly and gracious guinea pigs, which is our guests, which we love dearly. They really put up with us. They offered feedback all the time, and we, over the years have just made minor tweaks along the way, but then big tweaks for the move. So about 6 years ago, when we did the move, an expansion in Chicago, that was a very big moment where we had to say. Take all the things we learned, and then we get to kind of do something semi from the ground up. And there were some really big shifts that happened in that time.
Yeah.
And then the other big shift is right now with the addition of the event space and the Skokie space, which was probably most ground up we've ever done. So where we literally the building was shell, like just a shell. We removed everything but the walls and the roof.
Yeah.
And everything else kind of came up from there. So. I don't know if that answers it. Like mini tweaks, like all the time, and then some large transitions during moves, and while we're creating new things.
And I mean, some of the things like your Skokie space, you're like open for anyone under 21 until 9:00.
Under 18.
Under 18. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got over 18 afterwards. You've got like this awesome bar with these really super cool drinks. Like, who came up with those ideas? Why don't you talk about like some of these drinks, because they look so cool?
I wish I could take the credit.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll take the credit. No, I think a large part of it, and even feeding into kind of your previous question here, a large part of it has been leading on each other and people that we respect. To kind of like do iterative processes of building our business. So neither of us have been like Flavius or I have not gone to college, and this is the only job that I've ever had in my entire I've never worked anywhere else, and this is the only thing that I've ever done. I started working there in high school, stocking the shelves with candy bars. That's all I've done. So for us, it was like just a passion that just really drove kind of figuring out what makes businesses tick. And it was always like people, right?
Yeah.
The people are the focus on the guests and the people that you're attracting in terms of talent to bring onto the team. So our bar program was completely that. It was a guy named Les Reed, who's still on the team, and he's awesome, and he's been a nerd gamer that's been in the bar industry for over a decade. And he was like, guys, I love what you're doing. Whenever you're ready to serve alcohol, call me. So we called him. We called Les and we were like, hey, I think it's time. We found a spot. We found a municipality that has their arms wide open for us, and they're willing to kind of bring our concept to their city or their village. And they were like, do you want to join us? He's like, absolutely. So he went to town with it, and we really gave him a lot of creative freedom. And the cocktails are just really nerd inspired. They're fun. Our Metroid margarita is and everything's really kind of done in house. Like the juices are done in house, so it's a lot of like bespoke syrups and juices. But our Metro Margarita is really awesome. It's like a cucumber puree with melon balls. So we juice melon, and then we freeze them in these little round melon balls, and it looks like a Metroid, like they're planted on top. And then as the melon balls melt, they impart like melon flavors through the cocktail. It's super good.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, that's
so
a
good.
fun one.
So
The
good.
G&T virus is super fun. It has like a syringe in it, so it's a take on a gin and tonic. So it has pomegranate juice and tonic water, and then the syringe has lime Midori, so you could take it as a shot or inject it into your drink, which is really cool. So a large part of like Les's kind of philosophy behind the bar cram is how do we make cocktails that are interactive, just like the games that we offer. So, and they're all like nerd inspired and super fun. So a lot of the cocktails on there are like, hey, how do we make them interactive and how do we have people play with them? Like our mana potions are really awesome too. Yeah. Like they're just these fun mana and health potions that essentially look like mana and health potions in any video game.
Yeah, and vials, by the way. So, so they're sitting in, are they called vials?
Yeah, they're like vials, yeah.
So it's all like based off of these video games. So it's like you could be playing the game, having the potion right next to you, brought to you at the table, and
totally, and high quality mixtures as well. So less curates the stuff and just works diligently to make sure the flavors are all there, and the bar is respectable as well, like from a bartender standpoint. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and management. Yeah.
Do you have a wait staff that comes around to all the tables to take orders and whatnot?
Yeah. So a little bit different. We're like, hey, how do we make our experience even cooler or easier to kind of access? And tableside service is one of the ways that we tried to approach that. So our Chicago location is like QSR, quick service restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then we decided to do table service here just to kind of, again, just create more of an experience for people coming out. One of the biggest questions that we get from anybody is like, why would anybody come out and play video games here versus at home? And the counter question that I always have is, well, why do you go to a bar to drink and eat food when you could do that at home?
Exactly.
You could shop at Aldi and save big money. You know what I mean? But it's the experience, right? Like think about what restaurants and the restaurant industry has done for hundreds of years is they've really taken the idea of food and beverage and created an experience around food and beverage. Mm-hmm. And for us, we wanted to do the same exact thing with video games, food, and drink and create an experience around that. So tableside service is one of those ways that we're like, yeah, we could definitely add value here for our guests where they don't have to get up and go to their seat or get out of their seat to go grab food. So.
That's a great idea. I mean, service is everything. I mean, it's in my industry and it's, apparel, whatever you're doing. It's all about service.
It is.
An experience.
It is.
How do you see your location in Skokie evolving over time? Do you see it growing? Do you think that you're going to do more spaces throughout the area?
Or the Skokie area?
Or just in general in Chicagoland area or nationally? What's your plans? Yeah,
I think so. For us, it took us a tremendously long time. Like when Flav was talking about the mistakes we've made to kind of get to this point, and the continued mistakes that we're making at this point.
Which we're not going to get into.
For us, it's all. I think one of the driving factors that has really helped us keep our eyes on the prize has been scaling and growing this thing. And even attracting talent or attracting people that are interested in what we're doing has been a large part in being like, okay, well, we have a vision for growing this outside of just this market with the Chicago Skokie or Chicagoland market. It's taking a while because of some of the hurdles that are like nobody's really doing this and creating commercial equipment and ways for people to play these even point of sale systems, right? Nobody's really creating a platform for this type of market to exist. So it's taking a long time because we have to create these as we are going.
You're creating the prototype.
we're creating the prototype, and it's taken quite some time. Right, it took 15 years for us to go from 1 unit to 2 units, and even in that, just that 2 years that it took us to bring from our Chicago location to Skokie, there were so many new additions that we added to our Skokie location, like the event space, like tableside service, like VR. Like a complete redesign, like Flav was saying, like it's ground up, like all the equipment and furniture is customized and built to spec to really kind of like serve food and beverage and video games in the way that we think would, can scale, right? So everything that we were doing from build out and even developing our people systems has been, well, how do we scale this? Right. If you look at our backend and how we do this, like there's a lot of documentation and handbooks and job descriptions and processes that are really lend to passing on this baton and scaling this model. So a large part of what we've been doing and have been taking our sweet time is like we want to build this to scale.
Do that right
and do it right, yeah. Right. So for us, it's been let's try, let's put it into practice, and then let's also document and figure out how to scale this thing. So that's been kind of happening on the back end, and I don't think a lot of people see that part of it. They shouldn't, right? Come through and experience,
just come play,
have a good time, and if you're having a good time, then we're doing our jobs right. Yeah. But on the back end of it, in terms of scaling, it's been that for years for us. We've always been talking about. There's always been a vision for the future and scaling this thing for more than just even 2 units. I see it nationally. I could even see it globally, right? I don't think we're that ambitious yet, or we really need to kind of get through some of these, store 2 hurdles.
Right.
And generally, like if you read anybody that's gone from 1 store to 2 stores, that's a really big jump for any, location-based venue. It's just, there's a lot to learn there in terms of...
Yeah, that's what they say, and it brings us comfort when we read that.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are brothers. How is that working together?
We kind of grew up working together, and then there's a third one, believe it or not, which is currently... in Boulder, Colorado. He works for Twitter, but he is still heading up the technology for Ignite. So it's still very much a trio here, and we've always kind of worked together. I think we've built rhythms where we have very clear, somewhat clear boundaries where we know who's taking care of what. We connect where we need to, and then we kind of divide and conquer. That's kind of been the way we operate. We get along really well, I would say. Yeah. So I maybe if somebody were observing us, they can kind of dissect this more. But because I'm in it, like it kind of works. Like
it's a lot of passive aggression.
Yeah, of course. I'm assuming everybody knows that. Yeah.
Jeff. No.
I worked with my brother for several years too, so I had a ton of fun, But it's interesting, going from like just being brothers and kids, and then to like working together at a place. Yeah. So
it's a tough. I think because we've been doing it for so long, it's a little bit different now. Where I think the lines for us in terms of like business partners and brothers is strongly drawn, and I think we've been able to really navigate that, I think, through proper communication and also like we've never really talked about this, but we're uniquely positioned where each of us bring a specific skill set to the table, and neither of us want to like step on each other's toes for that. Right.
Yeah,
and it's
I've never talked about that, but it may more naturally happen maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like, it's just like, what are our skill sets? How do they lend to the business? Mm-hmm. And that stuff just caused us to not to have tension. Yeah. Right. Like, I agree. Like, hey, this is what you bring to the table, and I dig it. I respect it. And I think you do it well. And I'm going to let you do your thing, and let me know how I can support you. Yep. Like any business partnership is, right? When you come together, you're trying to find different skill sets and different people that bring, that elevate the entire team, right? So I think that just naturally happened where we each just have these very unique personalities that lend to specific skill sets in the business, and neither of us wanted to step on each other's toes for that.
And you guys have different last names. Flavius, why is your name Flavius Maximus?
I'm going to keep this short, but basically we're immigrants. So we were all of us were born in Romania and came here and grew up in Chicago as kids. And then became citizens as adults in the States. And for people that don't know, when you become a citizen, you literally step in a room and they ask you, do you want to change your name? Just like that. So I knew they could do that, and then I had this scheme. I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I literally went in the room, and then I told the guy, my last name's gonna be Maximus from here on out. So from that, he stamped a piece of paper, and I became Maximus from that day forward. That's the story. That's the story.
And how did you pick that? Just random?
Yeah, it was random. It was random. I thought it sounded cool together, and I thought I was going to carve my own destiny here. So,
Because there's like a character from like the original Star Trek show.
I heard that, but I was never a Star Trek fan, and I didn't know that at the time. So I didn't Google it before I did it, which probably I should have done. I'm glad I didn't screw up royally.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still on brand. It's still on brand.
I get asked all the time if that's my gamer tag in a business setting. So I go into a business setting and they're like, I run Ignite Gaming. It's like, is that your real name or is that your like gamer tag? I was like, I appreciate if I was that much in character, like that's pretty respectable. But no, it's my legal name.
That's awesome.
But not the name I was born with.
Okay. So what are the hours that people can come by, and like how does it work? Do you like pay like per hour, or what? How do people get in there?
Yeah, we're open 6 days a week. So Tuesday through Sunday, we're open from 5 to 2 a.m. on Tuesday through Thursday, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., Saturdays from noon to 3 a.m., and Sundays from noon to 2 a.m. So you could come by anytime you want. Reservations are not required. It's hourly, so it starts at $8 an hour, but we have packages and deals all the time, so I'll plug our website once we're done with this, but there's always opportunities to find ways to kind of save money or enjoy our space cheaper. The time banks, so if you buy time on there, like a 3-hour package, you're not obligated to use it all in one fell swoop. So it rolls over from visit to visit, and you come back and use it anytime you want. And it grants you access to the entire space.
And I mean, also besides the gaming pods that you guys have, you also have like a couple of virtual reality booths, and then you also have some other booths that you could do some like more interactive games, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple different experiences under our roof. So we have our single user stations that you were talking about, and those have Xboxes and PCs. And those have anywhere from like 50 to 80 games downloaded on there digitally, and you could play them. And there's first-person shooters or third-person shooters and battle royale games, just racing games, just about anything you could choose from. Then we have our couch co-op experiences, and those are you would imagine like a couch co-op at your home, and then it's
much nicer,
much nicer. A big 4K TVs with PlayStation 4 Pros, and a bunch of games that you could play split screen with multiple people on. And then we have our Rock Band Studios, which is like karaoke. So it has Rock Band 4 and a bunch of the premium equipment on there and thousands of songs to choose from. So it's basically ways for people to become their own versions of their rock stars that they want to become. Yeah, that's really cool. So that's like karaoke. Those are our Rock Band Studios. And then we have virtual reality, which are single user kind of virtual reality experiences with like tetherless VR. So we are using the HTC Vive Pros with the wireless technology that just released last September. Awesome. So it's all untethered, and your body's your controller. So yeah, those are the 4 types of experiences that we have at Skokie.
Super cool. One thing that crossed my mind is like you guys have an incredible amount of usage of the internet. How do you get enough like bandwidth to be able to support everything? How does this work?
So there is a whole team behind that. So
Yeah.
there's a whole team behind like how the games run, how the internet runs, the networking, all of that, and they work their butts off to make what we do commercial, and a part of it is making sure we do a lot of background work. So if someone were to come in and everybody were to try to download a game, it'd be a mess. So we do a lot of background work before the doors even open to make sure everything's updated, all the games are on there. And that's kind of how we mitigate some of that. America in general struggles with bandwidth problems. Like we don't have very good infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So even if we had the financing to like just get the biggest pipe we can get, it still wouldn't be enough. So the way we kind of mitigate that is do a lot of work in off hours to make sure everything's up to speed. When people come in, it doesn't take that much bandwidth for somebody to be in the game playing. That's a lot lower bandwidth, a lot less internet heavy, and then a lot of little things on the back end where updates and all that is all pushed like internally, little details to kind of make something at this scale work. Where somebody comes in and has no idea any of it happens, the games just work. Yeah,
That's
that's
the-
kind of the goal.
Yeah, it's proprietary, and the more details we tell you, the more we'll have to kill you.
Well, this is recorded, so like, where's the evidence, Judge? Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I hope so.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Can we edit this part out?
No. So where online should people be able to find you?
IgniteGaming.com. And you'll just find all the information. You'll have all the different experiences that I talked about. We're great for private events and parties. So kids' birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, bachelor parties, grad parties. It's a great group experience. Again, full service, food, beverage, and entertainment all under one roof. So IgniteGaming.com will get you guys all the information that you need about us, including ways to like book us or contact us if you have any questions or information or questions.
And all of your social media tags and everything there, too.
All that stuff is on there as well. Yep.
Very cool.
Or just add Ignite Gaming for the social media tags.
Oh, that's where everything is. That makes
yep.
sense. I'm excited to come play. And, everyone listening, if you want to come with me, let's go on Saturday night. So, or probably the rest of the week too would be good. I would assume.
Whenever you have time, actually.
Yeah, we're there.
But really, it's a pleasure to have you guys in and to learn about Ignite. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting the area. Thank you for supporting the business. We really appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks,
and
Aaron.
everyone, please subscribe. Take care. Hi, thanks so much for listening to this latest episode of Inside the Skev. Hope you enjoyed it. And just a reminder, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the Chicagoland area, specifically in Skokie or Evanston or Skevinston, go to my website at aaronmasliansky.com or feel free to reach out to me at aaron@skevinston.com. And don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends about it. Thanks so much.